Oh my God.
So, well, it had to be done anyway.
All right.
That your house has all those lines.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, really? Oh, the reason chimney.
What do you enjoy?
All right, it's 9 a.m. We'll call the regular meeting of the Fort Clark Springs Association Board of Directors to order. We have a quorum. Let's start out with a moment of silence, and we'll follow with the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, can you all silence your phones?
Okay, so everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes from the regular board meeting on October 15th.
Yes.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Move that we approve the minutes from last meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Secretary's report, I believe we have just one.
Yes.
We had correspondence from, can you hear me?
No.
All right, hang on. We had correspondence from Chuck Fields. We are setting on a powder keg, and it is only a matter of time before it blows. Our undeveloped areas are a great fire hazard. We can deal with this now or wait for it to burn Unit 3, 15, or 14, as well as putting us all at risk. This is a problem. We have a solution, and that is to clear all the dead wood, and while we're at it, a lot of the underbrush. To this end, I suggest that we hire 2 or 4 part-time, short-term workers to drive trucks pulling trailers to remove cuttings from areas that will be cleared by volunteers using their own chainsaws or loppers. The workers will only be needed after the volunteers have worked for 2 or 3 days at a time. We should start clearing near the trails and work our way deeper into the brush areas while at the same time widening the trails. Creating a volunteer group to do this now would help ensure that the winter Texans would have a place to start their work should they choose to do so. The benefits of this project are threefold. First, it would greatly reduce the danger of wildfire and thus help ensure the safety of our fellow owners. Secondly, it will clear space for tent camping and maybe even RV parking, boondocking, as well as clearing roads somewhat for access to those spaces to be used for the 2024 eclipse of the sun. Thirdly, once this is done, it will allow native grasses and plants a chance to return to the property, thus increasing beauty and habitat for wildlife. I know money is tight, and always will be, but a little prevention now will save millions later. This is the best time for this project because the drought has cleared large areas of more tender underbrush and killed the weaker trees, making their removal a lot easier. Also, many of the undesirable trees have lost branches, adding to the fire hazard, but also making them easier to remove. Thank you for your consideration of this matter, and should you care to discuss it, call me or just come talk to me. Charles Field.
Thank you. Treasurer's report.
Good morning. Our revenue for the motel for October is $27,770. We are definitely down from last month and from last year, but as we've seen, we don't have any DPS or anything here right now. So hopefully the hunters will help make up that difference. The RV revenue is $12,172, and that is up over last month and last year. Our total income for the month of October is $198,554. Our total expenses is $183,255, for a net gain of $15,289. Yay! Total year-to-date, which isn't very far, total income is $226,587 and some odd cents. Total expenses $178,414, for a total of to the positive of $48,172. For preservation, there is $32,066 in that account. And then our total balance between all of our bank accounts is $641,715.89. We also, at this point, have $323,318 in the restricted fund, which is included in that $600,000. And that's all I have.
Questions? Membership questions? Okay. We'll move into the general manager's report.
Well, it's pretty obvious to see what our project's been for the last month. In case anybody does not remember, we voted on getting 150 trees in, which we received about 3 weeks ago. Jamie Bordelon came through for us as far as if everybody saw the holes being drilled, which I guess was 2 weeks ago. We got 132 holes drilled on that weekend for planting the trees. As of right now, the trees in the RV park have been planted. The golf course has been planted. The east side of Highway 90 have been planted. So we are roughly about halfway through the planting. Hopefully we can finish the ones we have to plant by Thanksgiving this next week. We've got our little procedure down. It seems to be working real good. We have a little excess dirt to use on them, and we're using a fertilizer. I'm not sure if anybody is aware of Medina Agricultural Products. If you go to San Antonio, you can pass it every time you go through Hondo, but it's a fertilizer I've been using for almost 30 years, and it's a natural fertilizer. They've been working with us on, in the first place we used it was on the greens at the golf course. If anybody remembers, they had a real yellowing color to them. Well, now they've gotten green and helped out. So they've been helping us as far as figuring out what kind of fertilizer we need for the trees. And this comes from working with Gary Rips, was our arborist that we worked with about 6 months ago to give us an idea of what we need to do. And so we're proceeding accordingly. We still have the ones on the west side of Highway 90. We're finishing up the par 3s, and then we're going to have about 18 more that we need to place around the area. So it's going according to plan, and actually much better than I could have expected. If it wouldn't have been for Jamie getting us that drill, we would have been way behind. I mean, that just was an amazing gift that got us going. So appreciate that, and very appreciative of everything that's been done. And our guys have been really doing a good job, because I know how many people drive down to the spring, but we removed a lot of trees that were sort of compromising the wall around the spring, around the pool. The root system, they had to be replaced and had to be removed. We rented a stump grinder, and I'll say it cost us $1,500 for the week. But at the same time, it's a $30-something thousand machine, so if we only rent it once a year, we come out way ahead. And we had our schedule exactly where we wanted to go to get all these stumps removed. And that went real well. We did rent a chipper shredder to try that. That did not go as well. That was way more labor intensive for the rewards. I think one's needed, but it needs to be done as you're cutting your trees, not as while you're trying to remove a pile. We started at the golf course and it was like we didn't even, I worked for 2 hours and it looked like we never even touched it. So we'll either have to burn that or try to remove that with the trucks and everything. I've been working with Texas Parks and Wildlife on stocking the spring. And I just received a email a couple days ago from Mitch Nesbitt, who's the Texas Parks and Wildlife contact with the fish. And I'll talk to him this next week and set up what we're going to order from the fisheries in December and January. And it'll be for a spring delivery, from what he tells me. They're on their timetable, we've got plenty of time. So he will set up what we need to replace in the spring. Has not said if this is going to be on Texas Parks and Wildlife or it's going to be on our dime or anything. So it's one of those things we have to look into. I am working with the Texas A&M Agriculture, working on a Master Gardener class as well as a Master Naturalist class. Something that a lot of people have asked for. We're sort of a unique ecosystem here that they seem to be very interested in starting these classes, so we want to try to get as many people involved. Concierge Plus, we're going to try to kick it in December or January the 1st. And probably one of the best things that's happened is the Cavalry Brigade started back up again this last weekend and helped us remove just tons of stuff down in the park, down in the pool area. And so it's helped us catch up. We're still nowhere near finished, but it's cleaning up quite a well. If you come down the hill, you'll see a totally different picture than what you saw before. Some of the dead trees are gone. It's cleaned up, it's greening. We finally got the systems going with the pool again. And that was strictly a part that allowed us to clean up the sides of the pool a little bit better. So now after we clean it, you see it's blue again. So hopefully that's the picture we want to see. Other than that, that's all I have.
Just a question about Concierge Plus.
Mm-hmm.
What will people, because we've gone through a couple iterations, are we gonna be able to like run our dispatch and stuff through there? And work orders and, that kind of thing? Yes,
but that's going to be a learning program with everybody, so I'm not intending on stopping what we're doing now. It's going to be a years-long learning curve to get everybody involved in it. So, but over a period of time, yes, I believe it will take over and change over for it.
And will there be a payment portal? Will that work, or are we not going to be able to do that?
I don't think it's in our best interest to do it now, because we're not going to be charging on that portal. We cannot charge assessments on Concierge Plus. They're working on getting that, but that's not something we're ready to do. As far as understanding the revenue that's coming into the fort, we know that the DPS has hurt us big time. I don't think anybody understands how much. That's $20,000 difference from last year to this year just in DPS revenue that we had. And now it's the fact that you're seeing the publicity of the illegals starting to hurt tourism in this area. And now people are starting to get scared to come down here. That's the one question you hear from everybody outside. Isn't it dangerous to come down there? So I think that's going to be hurting us a little bit. Our deer hunting's actually down $8,000 from where it was last year. But a lot of that's because they made the reservations early last year and they just haven't made as many. I think it will catch up. And we sold one lot last year, actually 2 lots. And we stopped right after that. That's when we realized we sort of gave that land away. We shouldn't have sold that. So now we'll get the pricing restructured and now that revenue will start coming back. So that's it.
Regarding the trees, Mr. Peterson, how many trees are gonna be available to sell to the public?
I don't think we really should sell any.
Okay.
I think we have the areas that we still need to replace. We're gonna have 18 extra trees.
Okay. How much have we collected in donations up to this point?
Right, I think 8,200 now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
We do have a lot, and there are a lot of people I know that have basically committed to buying them. They just have not purchased them yet.
Thank you.
Membership questions for Mr. Peterson? None at this time? Okay. We'll move into committee reports. Airport, did we get one?
No.
Okay. Architectural?
Good morning. Since the last board meeting, we've approved 5 permits, issued 1 violation letter, sent 1 variance to the board, and sent 1 appeal of a variance denial to the board with our recommendations. We've appointed Mallory Ratliff to the full term to be vacated by Phoebe Bartolon. Phoebe's term ended in June, and she's been gracious enough to continue until the end of this year as a voting member and consultant for us. We want to thank her for her years of service. Mallory will begin immediately as a voting member. We are in the process of trying to determine the links remaining in unfulfilled terms, as past records were not accurately kept when someone came on the committee and when they resigned. As soon as we've determined the terms that need to be filled, we will present to the board the names of people we would like to have fill those terms. If anyone would like to serve on the committee, you can pick up an application form at the admin office, and you're very welcome to come to our meetings to see if it is something you would like to participate in. We would really like to have a complete committee of 7 people.
Thank you. Can we check procedurally on how people are put onto the architectural committee?
From what I read, they are appointed by the board, not chosen by the committee and put on immediately.
Right, that's my understanding, but I don't think that, all I asked for was to check into it. They were not doing anything else.
Okay, I just want to let you know, in Rules and Regs Part 3, it says in the event of a vacancy occurs, a replacement shall be appointed by the association board to serve the unexpired term of the vacated position. There's nothing in there about who appoints to for a full term.
Oh, we'll have to check into that. Thank you.
We'll review it.
Yes, sir.
As far as I know, the architect committee will present to the board people that have said they would have, served, and then the board approves them.
Right, that's my understanding as well, but we'll work through it.
So in the declaration, Part 8, 3rd paragraph, the architectural committee will operate and perform its duties independently of the association board, except the committee may not grant variances, and member owners have the right to appeal a determination of the committee to the association board under, that's not the paragraph I wanted to read, sorry.
I didn't say what he wanted it to.
Well, I
So
understand.
she said it, but it's in the declaration.
I understand, and there's differing views on how that's read, and we've been to the attorney on this in the past, and we have what the attorney said, so that's why I asked for a review, and we can come back to everyone. There's no point in us all stating what we think there is, what it says right now. Let's get the facts, we'll bring it back to everyone else. I'm very happy to have Mallory and everyone else who's participating in the architectural committee continue to do that until we can figure out the proper way to do it. This is not about someone being on the board or not being on the board, or on the architectural committee or not on the architectural committee. This is about procedurally doing things the right way. You're messing with 209, and when you have someone appointed to a board who hasn't been properly put in, and then you have an issue, you're asking for a situation that's gonna end up in litigation. That's the only reason I wanna get the procedure right. I have no problem with the architectural committee bringing people and finding their own committee members. That's wonderful. We've got enough to do. So we just wanna make sure we do it the right way. That's it. So we'll get back and make sure that we understand exactly how to do it. Golf.
Golf committee, this is from Katie Brown. I realize I'm late with the golf committee report, hope you might still get it in. The golf committee voted on and donated $1,300 of funds raised from their tournaments towards a new transmission for the zero-turn mower. The golf committee held the Kinney County Church Alliance tournament on October 29th. The tournament benefits the commodities program and aid to needy seniors and families in Kinney County. There were 9 teams of 4 players. Winners donated back to KCCA. Volunteers to aid with food distribution can contact Cordelia Mendicki at Hope. Respectfully submitted, Katie Brown.
Thank you. Preservation?
This is the Preservation Committee report for November 2022. Last month at the 10/12/22 Preservation Committee meeting, we came to a majority vote to do a complete rebuild on the Post Theater marquee due to the extensive structural damage and the bad state of the wiring and sockets. Around the same time, however, our MK contractor came down with a serious medical emergency that brought everything on the theater marquee rebuild to a complete halt. As of Monday, 11/7/22, I finally received extremely good news. The medical emergency has been resolved to a very successful personal and business conclusion. MK Builders LLC is back in business. I therefore am requesting one check for $2,000 to MK Builders LLC, which is 50% of bid number 998 of the 4,000 for the complete lighting rebuild, and 4,200, which is 50% of bid number 999 for 8,400 for the complete structural rebuild. Work should start in approximately 2 weeks. Respectfully submitted, H.M. Bitter. Now, do you want to answer questions now, or do you want to wait for the discussion?
Let's get through the committee reports, and that way we can do it on the tabled item. That way it'll just kind of all flow together.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Did you want this now or at a different time?
Oh, now is good.
Okay, well,
Sure.
I'll let you go, and then while you're doing that, I'll set this up.
Thank you. Can I move this?
Your show, we're just here.
Good morning. I have a list today, so. The September shipment of cardboard brought us $2,149, so that's fabulous. We're going to be closed Thanksgiving, which is a Thursday, and we will be open the following Saturday. We need a compactor baler in the recycle center, and so I wrote 2 grants to try to get some money, and because a new one would cost about $14,000, a used one maybe $10,000. So I got $1,000 from Rio Grande Electric, which was wonderful, and that was posted at the annual meeting, and they showed this little clip, which I hope you'll enjoy here.
Hi, I'm Helena McBride.
I'm the something.
The star. Director of the Recycle Center at Fort Clark Springs in Brackettville. Our center has been in existence for for 15 years. And our main goal is to keep trash out of our landfill. Last year, we saved 53 tons and we kept it out of the landfill. For the past 10 years, we kept 355 tons out of it, and that is 689,520 pounds. Our recycle center is completely run by volunteers. We collect number 1 and number 2 plastic, aluminum and steel cans, office paper, and mixed paper. We have 1 compactor and baler, but we need another one. I'm very grateful for the award of $1,000 from Rio Grande Electric Sharing Success Grant. We were so surprised and really happy to accept it. Again, we thank you so much.
We did that, I think, on a Saturday morning. So that was Katie Brown and Trent Brown, and then Elaine Ledoux, so, who just came in randomly. So, okay, the second thing, I got 7,000, I'm so excited I can hardly say this. I got $7,500 from Keep Texas Beautiful. Wow. And that was amazing. So, and that was Coca-Cola money, by the way. So they need more plastic for their bottles. Right now, they're putting in 50% of a bottle is from recycled plastic. So that's why they're trying to encourage people to not only drink Coke, but get us more water bottles, any kind of number 1 plastic. So that's fabulous. Okay, we need more money, obviously, to get the baler. So I was going to propose to the board, perhaps get on the agenda next month, that we get the value of our recycle income towards buying a baler. And we also, if we get the baler, we'll need a storage shed, carport, some sort of a building to put the forklift, put the bales, because we can't ship the bales until we have at least 42. So, you know, they're 600 pounds, huge, big things. So we'll need some kind of a storage building to put that in, because there's not enough room when we put the baler in the corner where the forklift is. So tune in next month.
So where are you? You said 14,000 for a
New one,
okay, and you now have 8,500,
yeah.
and then you need a building. I was just curious.
Yeah, well, you
That's
know,
5,500 more,
at least,
plus no building, no
Yeah.
shed,
right.
whatever.
And I'm gonna get some prices. Our contact in Keep Texas Recycling is all over the state, so she's involved with all kinds of recycle programs. And so she's gonna help us with where, if we need a decent used baler, she knows where things are. So hopefully Monday I'll speak with her about storage buildings, and that's, you know, used balers that are decent. So the other issue eventually is going to be a forklift. God knows how many years old that is. And we looked on the little dial of the forklift, and it's got 9,000 some odd hours. I don't know what that means in terms of
But we got
That's
oil leaks and different issues come up all the
I would
time.
imagine that's rolled over.
Yeah,
That's way low.
Say what?
It's
Imagine
rolled
that's
over.
rolled over.
Roll
That-
over?
That's way,
It's-
that's
it's-
above.
Oh, okay.
It's rolling over.
It's about to do it again, yeah.
We already have 100,000, you mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was, when we first opened 13 years ago, that was donated from Sam Holloman. He had an oil company, I think, in Odessa, Texas, so,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna suggest, is there's a lot of lube companies that trade those in and out quickly, and so that's exactly where I was gonna say we should start looking to see who has them.
yeah.
I think Suncoast Resources is closing a building in San Antonio that they don't move them. When they're done, they're done, they're not.
I would imagine we're gonna need it within the next year, 2 years.
Okay, so start looking faster, I guess, is what you're telling me.
Miss Elena, where currently are we holding the cardboard? Are we here at maintenance?
Yeah,
So we have technically a building?
well, I don't think they have any space.
That's where we're storing it right now.
It is, when they get, I mean, where the baler is in that little inset, they do put the bales there up to the ceiling. I don't know how many they could fit, maybe 20. And then they're moving them to any place they could find until they get 42. Before we can't ship unless we have 42 to fill that truck. So they have no space.
That's currently our situation.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
So, yeah, so we definitely need them, and I did put that into my application. I asked for 15,000, but at least I got half, so that's fabulous. So,
Great, great. And what was the number in our conversation with Keep Texas Beautiful? We were 10 tons behind a community, so I guess more than triple our size?
I don't remember.
I
have no knowledge.
Yeah, in our conversation with Keep Texas Beautiful, a community that's 3 times our size, maybe just up the road, only did 10 tons more of recycling than we did here on the fort. So that's pretty impressive. So that goes to all the work that the group does out there at the recycle center, but also to the membership that's willing to come over there and do that. So thank all of you for doing that.
And we need more, definitely. We need more people to bring stuff. Yeah. One of the things I put in was to have more community involvement in our recycling program. So I'm going to go to places that have more than 5 employees, if I could find that, and ask them to start giving out, saving plastic at least, soda bottles or aluminum cans. And that means the school district and Rio Grande Electric.
The county.
They're the largest here in Brackettville. So I'm going to try to get them to save. So we used to have a deal with the school district for office paper and mixed paper. And once the pandemic hit, they stopped everything. So there's a new superintendent over there, so I need to go and get
Sure.
get them going again.
Yeah, we have a unique opportunity right now. Coca-Cola has, and this, Helena mentioned this, but Coca-Cola has opened a mill in Monterey. So they really are pressing along the border here to get as much as they can to where they don't have to go purchase it on the open recycle market. So all the communities along the border, they're very intrigued in putting money into. So that's the reason that they're looking at locations out here.
So I'm going to move the money into the community council because of 501c3. So eventually, when we purchase, it'll be tax-free.
Great.
So, okay, anything else?
No, we're ready for the rest of your show.
All right. I tapped every now and then. This is the Los Morris Restoration Committee report from Chris Hale this year. Unfortunately, the grant request to Rio Grande Electric was not approved. I had no idea we were competing, but okay. It was hoped that this might be a source of money with which to finish the sidewalk repair. We'll continue to seek funding. Helena McBride has made the decision to resign from the Los Morris Restoration Committee. We greatly appreciate her dedication.
Thank you.
I'm too busy for the.
Hey, you're out there on the fundraising tour, so good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Helena, thank you for everything you do, which is a lot.
Thank you. Okay, recreation.
This is a long one.
Okay.
You are receiving this email because you have shared an interest in making life better in our community. Our biggest asset in this community is our friends and neighbors. Everyone has a talent that can be shared to make our community life healthier and happier. Our committee has set a high standard of goals which we may not be able to accomplish in a month or several years, but if we continue to strive forward, we can do it. Remember, eat the elephant one bite at a time, LOL. Our goal is to make our community healthier by bringing people out of their homes and moving. We want to provide seminars to improve our eating habits and encourage our community to stay active. We strive to organize bike riding groups, walking groups, or trail marking group. I think that might be making. Anyway. We need more teen activities for healthy interaction with the community. Mr. Peterson has agreed to start working on the basketball court. If this goes well, we will have a basketball and either a pickleball or a tennis court. We want to provide entertainment to give our young parents an outlet to meet and plan activities for our younger children with like-minded families. Also, we need more fellowship for our older community. Although we have just gotten started, we need the help of more volunteers to give us ideas and put some of these activities into action. We had a great first activity during our spectacular. We had over 50 children, and it was wonderful watching the interaction between parents and their children. We learned how we can improve by making it more interactive with older children. For Christmas, we are planning a Holidays at 4 o'clock theme. We will be having a learning activity to suit the preteen and crafts for the younger children. We will have the historical stations with different cultures that actually celebrated Christmas on the fort in the past. Of course, Santa will be visiting for a photo opportunity. For the rest of the community, we are booking a Christmas bus tour to San Antonio on December 16th. We will be visiting Market Square and then moving on to the Riverwalk. Depending on response to this activity, we'll decide how often we will do tours and where to go. Look for our upcoming flyer for information. Imagine these activity goals were thought up by maybe 5 people. Whether you are a teen parent, or mentor, older adult or young parent, we need your ideas, and working together we can accomplish so much more. If you can't make our meetings, you can share your ideas via email. Our next meeting is December 7 at 5 p.m. at the Adult Center. Please come and share your ideas.
Who's that from?
That is from Anna Vega Martinez.
Okay. Election committee?
I'm sorry, I have bad knees. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Short report. On the 28th, the applications for candidacy for the board, we have 1 position open, were delivered to admin, teen center, or, adult center, and the golf course. So you can pick them up any of those places. They're due by 5 o'clock on January 2nd, which is a long time from now, but, takes, we would appreciate it if you get them turned in as soon as you make the decision. Okay?
I've received one.
Oh, good, thank you. And I want to thank the board, the committee wants to thank the board for approving Bill Herman as our 5th committee member. So our next meeting is on December 5th, because right now we're just basically waiting for people to decide whether or not to run. And we would encourage, if there's one position, but we would encourage more than one person to run. Okay, are any questions?
In state elections, if there's only one candidate, we don't have to hold the election to save the expense for the county. Is that the same for under HOA or no?
You know, I would have to look,
Okay.
because it's never happened.
Well, I mean, let's wait a little longer, but.
Yeah, the theory originally was that, yes, we would have to run it because there is the option of the write-in vote,
Okay,
okay? So by not running it, you take away that option.
right. Yes, and I guess that's only if you have a primary. Yeah, so there's no, okay, well then, okay.
Okay.
$3,000 is $3,000, which is about what it costs to do an election.
Absolutely,
So,
in addition to the $1,000 or so that we pay to have it audited.
mhm.
So, any other questions?
No,
Okay,
thank you. All right, so community council reports.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. You missed me, didn't you? Community Council met November 2nd, November 12th. It was a pretty short meeting. We discussed some items, and as you know, I did send a copy of some of our notes to the secretary to look at. We discussed the adult center and the asbestos problem. There's still a little bit of consideration as to where the asbestos actually is and what we can do with it. Community Council has an ad hoc committee who has been meeting with Ellen and Philip. We have earmarked $2,000 to set aside for the correction and of the, basically the women's toilets on the second floor. We're not doing anything with that money. It's going to stay in there until it's finally decided if and what we can do with the bathrooms up there. And if nothing else, then we will proceed on putting the money to another extent. The other big thing was the baler, which I don't have to talk about because Helena gave a most wondrous report on how she's getting money. She just goes out and gets it. It's hard asking to get money from people, especially when you're dealing with government entities and businesses, because everybody's kind of strapped, okay? The next thing we discussed basically was the trees. Everybody agreed that they liked the idea that we're putting the trees in. Some of the concerns were the confusion on the plaques. Is a plaque going to be on each individual tree? Do the donors have to pay extra for the plaque? And all we're going to do is we'll clarify that with Mr. Peterson, and he can make an announcement or put it in the dispatch or something. That was the biggest problem. Oh, he's working on it. Okay.
All right.
We did have a new member show up, and he was extremely interested in helping and volunteering on various committees and just getting to know the fort. Years ago when Wally and I came, we used to get a welcome package. I'll be very honest, I have not been to administration, so I don't know if there is a package that's giving out. It's an introductory package about what you can see, where the buildings are, some of the committees, some of the clubs, because he's new, so maybe he's kind of innocent, but he really, really wanted to show that he wanted to support the fort. Okay, and the next one, the big one is, okay, elections. Helena, you may or may not know, is resigning. She has way too much on her table, her plate, the whole thing. We are looking for a president. It is a one-year term because that person will just be filling in Helena's role. Okay, if anybody's please interested in doing it, I would say talk to Helena about the presidency. My 6 years are up. According to our bylaws, I cannot run as secretary anymore. Okay, if you're interested in the secretary's job, which is really not too bad, we all, there's 2 months out of the year we don't meet. Please check with me and I will be happy to do it. Our elections are at our January meeting. So if you're interested, please talk to people, show up, because Community Council is a wonderful organization to be a part of a board. Excellent. Okay? And that will be at our January 14th meeting, 2023. And the other thing is we did talk about Fort Clark Days. Francis gave a very short report. Basically, the things are moving right along. She has vendors signing up. The donations are coming in. Living historians are coming. The commissary was going to be used again, but years ago it was used and we had everything in there. And Charlene remembers dancing on the dance floor, on the stage too, okay? And there's also talk of having a farmer's market on that Saturday event because there has been a major interest in getting a farmer's market started and growing things. Other than that, that's all I really have. Okay, please remember our next meeting is December 10th, and all lot owners are members of Community Council. Do you have any questions?
What's the date of Fort Clark Day is coming?
First Monday, in the 3rd and 4th?
3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th of March.
There you go.
Mark it on your calendar.
I will.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions?
No, thank you, welcome back.
Did we like the weather we brought? We're up in Washington for the whole summer.
Okay, so during the time between the last meeting in October and this meeting, we had several votes that needed to come up before the board via email. So we discussed the purchase of the trees in the last meeting. We didn't have a final price, so we couldn't vote on that. So as soon as we got the final price in, we approved Mr. Peterson to transfer up to $19,000 to Community Council so that we could use their tax benefit to purchase the trees for the betterment of the fort. So we much appreciate the savings there provided by Community Council. The asphalt purchase, we approved up to $3,000. We had done some work throughout a few of the units, but it was clear that we needed more. We ended up not needing to spend $3,000. We were able to use our own equipment, but we did approve up to $3,000, so there were some savings there. The election committee approval of an additional member, as you heard earlier, Mr. Herman was added to that committee. We also approved the cheer signs, which you see on Highway 90 along the fort fence. In working with everything that you've heard, and it's kind of a common theme of all of the things that we need to work on throughout the fort, we have enlisted the services of Annabelle McNew to put in a community survey. We approved this survey, and there's an additional piece that we need to discuss, but at this point, we had approved a survey that will go out to the community and be collected and then presented back to the board and to the general manager and to the membership to kind of really get a focus on what is the interest, what are the concerns, and where do we want to see the direction of the fort. We started this process, by having an opportunity to talk about visions, and it was clear that yes, we all had ideas and there was a way to look at that, but there was not a cohesive way to kind of take that information and make it actionable. So this is an effort to move to that portion. So at this time, do you want to talk a little bit about it, or?
Sure. I have a flyer over here with the link to the survey. It is a pretty long, in-depth survey, but would really appreciate everyone's input. It is open not just to members, but really anyone with an interest in the future of the fort. So renters, people that do business, family, everyone is encouraged to take it. So the link is there on the flyer, which is over there. And then the results will come in, we'll analyze, and then we'll share. We're planning two sessions that will report back on the findings and then take that information and, like Travis said, make it actionable. If you have any questions or have trouble with the link or the actual functionality of the survey, please let me know.
So I think I read on the thing, you're going to email us this information, we have a link, and then you want the answers back by December 3rd? Is that what?
Yes.
So when can we have access to this link?
It is live right now.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And there are people that don't have computers. So are those surveys going to be available at the admin office or something?
We are working on the paper copy version.
Yeah.
It is it's a It's not overwhelming once you get into it, but just on paper, it does end up being several pages. So I'm working on formatting that in that way.
Would we want to try to figure out a way to set up a kiosk here
Yes,
that
yes.
they can come and take the
Yes.
survey here?
Yes, so, I do have a tablet that that's kind of,
Or you can take it home and do it.
Well,
Do it down
Yeah,
there.
we'll be
we're-
taking my computer.
The paper, we're working on paper version. If we can't do that, also a kiosk where you could do it here.
No, option.
It's a
Just an
50-page
option.
survey.
50 page?
Formatting is very difficult.
Yeah.
But this is the opportunity for the membership to weigh in, what you
Right.
would like to see happen, what you would like, what kind of entertainment are you looking for, everything from A to Z, correct?
yes, it's very
So
comprehensive.
it's your opportunity to weigh in as to where we go in the future.
Ms. Annabelle, why are we considering people that are not members of the board? I'm not sure about that.
Well, so the survey will be anonymous, but there are check boxes where you can identify what your relationship is to the fort. And, we sort of have discussed that while obviously the membership and insights and opinions is going to be the most valuable, but it is nice to have an overview of kind of an outside view of the fort, potential homeowners that might be wanting to move to the fort, people that do business with the fort. I think it's just great to get kind of a general overview.
Even people in Brackettville.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mr. Peterson, is it possible we can send out a postcard to all the lot members, like an election ballot, not an election ballot, like a postcard saying, this is where you can go and get the survey, or, give them the opportunity to know where they can go and do it, because
Yeah,
there's an issue of communication on where to get it and how to do it.
So I
A
think,
lot of times when surveys are done, to keep it anonymous, you have a code for whether it's members or non-members, so it basically sorts them out.
yes, there will be a way, like in the report, it will identify kind of what those opinions are and where they're coming from. But I think that if you're talking about just receiving the link and knowing that the survey is available, I think today was the first day that it was live, and so we're making this announcement here, and then we'll continue to just.
Dispatch, can't we use the
Dispatch,
dispatch? That's
yeah.
free, on a regular basis, until the time that they have to be completed.
I think we already are.
Okay, just a thought.
The thing about the kiosk is excellent because it's a lot easier to tabulate the results than trying to go through paper copies. So I would encourage computer use.
And if we could also talk with the people at the front and just say, hey, this is how you use it, just a short, like, if someone has questions when they come in, just so that there's someone there that has some knowledge of what's going on.
What is the percentage, what are you anticipating right now?
For the response rate?
Yeah.
The goal is at least 20%, which is a pretty substantial standard, and that'll be a substantial sample group. So I think that will be great. But I do think that just in the kind of feedback and conversations that I've had, I think that it's possible to exceed that. So.
Well, it's my great hope that 20% is members than non-members.
Right.
These are the ones that are affected the most
Well,
by
absolutely.
this survey.
Yes. And, I hope that people take the time to do it. So that does take it is a bit of a commitment, and it's thoughtful, and it will take some time for members. So I do hope that they will respond.
Well, and I think for those of us that are online, we can share that link all over the place. And if I tell two people and they tell two people. Because although the dispatch is good, it doesn't reach the membership. So, but I think if everybody spreads it, it'll be good.
Is it shareable?
Yes.
I know. Would it be advantageous to put something on the signboard? So that people
Oh, that's
who
a
don't
good
have
idea.
a computer do that and say, oh, okay, go to administration and get help or something? It's just a thought.
If there's
Definitely.
If there's room.
There's a lot of stuff up there.
Well, this one's important.
How about the smaller one?
Deal with the small one. It's only supposed to be used by certain groups.
We'd have to research that.
Yeah. Major research.
I do not recall. So in addition to the initial proposal, there were two other pieces that were proposed as far as the survey went, which would be the 2 follow-up pieces. There was a thought that we wanted to wait on talking about those. This survey, and actually in our charge to Mr. Peterson in his employment agreement, marketing and this figuring out what the pulse of the community falls under him. So it's my hope that for the rest of that process, that any of the questions or anything are run through Mr. Peterson, just let him, that's his charge. So we, helped initially to get this rolling, but we'll stay out of y'all's way and just let this happen. So the other piece is we have the 2 sessions that we need to consider, which both fall under the spending amount. So other than talking about them in general, we can weigh in and give our opinion, but I don't know that we actually need a vote. So.
Yeah, I didn't thought about that.
All good with that? Do we need to discuss? The follow-up sessions are where we take the survey and then we're given the information, we understand what it is, and if you want to talk a little bit more about that.
Those are, so we have some tentative dates of December 9th and December 16th. So December 9th would be a few days after the survey closes, and that would be a session that is open to the public membership, and we'll just review those findings and do some just discussion and analysis and kind of look at that in depth with the membership and the public and the board and Mr. Peterson. And then the following week, December 16th, we'll be taking those findings and implementing them into a more strategic plan.
And the 16th is also an open meeting, is that right?
Yes.
And I think I saw something about a free lunch.
Yes, free
Is
lunch.
Oh, we'll all be here.
No free lunch unless you do the survey.
There you go.
Travis? Just want to clear up confusion. Are we going to vote in the future to do the rest of the contract with them?
Well, no, so the phase 1, the full phase 1, those 2 extra meetings, those are under the spending limit for the GM, and so marketing's under the GM, so we'll just move forward with that unless we have any major concerns.
Okay, I just don't want to see it stopped at some point after a survey.
Yes, ma'am.
So December 9th and 16th were the dates, and it sounds as though there's a free lunch. Those people who are working will not be able to attend either one of those meetings. Is it going to be during the regular business day?
It would be Friday, so Friday on the 9th would be 10 to 1, and then the 16th is 10 to 2.
Yeah.
So perhaps people could come on their lunch break, but those findings will be sent out.
I think we can also make an effort to record those sessions so they'll be available for anyone who can attend. So I think that works out well just in general to have those to have those recorded so that we can go back and look and evaluate what we did. So.
I would appreciate that. I can't attend either one of those meetings.
Okay, we will definitely work to make that happen. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I just got here. There will be no paper copies of this survey?
There will be paper copies. The formatting based on the software that's being used is very difficult and very daunting the way it comes out. So we're going to work to make it a more feasible matter.
And it will be available?
As soon as possible at the front desk. And we'll make sure that everyone knows.
Okay, as soon as possible, don't give me the date left. Okay.
Okay, Monday. We'll have it for you Monday.
That'll be great. I appreciate
Yes.
that.
The new lease for the wastewater treatment area. So we've been working to get a meeting.
Yeah.
We gave them dates and they're all in.
Everybody's in.
So the date is
December 6th
December 6th
at 6 o'clock here.
at 6 p.m.
December, okay.
December 6th at 6 p.m. there will be a meeting between the Fort Clark Springs Association Board of Directors, the mayor, and
The city.
the city. I don't know who their representatives will be.
Mayor, administrator, and the city council been invited.
Okay, so the mayor and the city council and the city administrator have been invited, and then we've also asked the MUD board to attend as well. So I know that there's some confusion as to how these entities all interact, and so we hope to kind of lay that out a little more for everyone. I could talk for the next 4 hours on the relationships between the two, and I'm happy to do that at any point, but I'm sure you don't all want to hear it right now. So catch me as I'm walking down the street, and I'm happy to fill you